Truth, and Get the Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. There are 5 or more versions of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. This version appears to be on the Lincoln Memorial, Washington, D.C., and contains the words, "Under God." These words are the most notable differences between the versions. And according to popular accounts, these are the words Lincoln said. 70 years ago, our proud fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that this nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. Now we are met on a great battlefield of that war. We are here to dedicate a proportion of that field for a resting place for those who gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, consecrated it. Far above our poor power to add or detract, the world will little note nor longer remember what we say here, but they will always remember what they did here. We here highly resolve that this nation, under God, will have a new birth of freedom, and that the dead shall not have died in vain. And by the government of the government, by the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Now I'm going to recite the speech, Ain't I Woman, by Sojourner Truth. This speech she gave in 1851 out of the top of her mind in Akron, Ohio. Sojourner Truth was a very loyal woman. She stood up for her beliefs, and she believed that everyone was created equal, no matter what race or gender. Now I'm going to recite the speech, Ain't I a Woman, by Sojourner Truth. Well, children, where there's so much wreck, there must be something out of kilter twixt the Negroes of the South and the women of the North, all talking about women's rights or Negroes' rights. And what's that got to... and the white men will be in a fix pretty soon. What's all this here talking about? That man over there says that women need to be helped in the carriages, lifted over ditches, and to have the best place anywhere. Nobody ever helps me into carriages, over mud puddles, or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me, look at my arms. I've plowed and planted and gathered in the barns, and no man can head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as a man, if I could get it, and bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I've borne 13 children, and seen most all sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, nobody but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? Then they talk about this thing in the head. What's this they call it? Intellect. That's it, honey. What's that got to do with women's rights or Negroes' rights? If my cup won't hold but a pint, and yours holds a quart, wouldn't you be mean not to let me have my little half measure full? And that little man in black there, he says that women can't have as much rights as men, because Christ was a woman. Where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and woman. Man had nothing to do with him. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn this world upside down, then these women together ought to be able to turn it back and have it right side up again. And now they's asking to do it. The men better let them. Obliged to you for hearing me. And now old Sojourner ain't got nothing more to say.